Well, audible? It's audible? Yes. So, good afternoon, you all. On the behalf of Alankit Limited, I, Lokesh Upadhyay, Regional Head of Kerala Region, welcome you all to the GST seminar organized by Alankit Limited, the GSP. Today, you will learn how our GST solution will able to make your GST journey smooth. Now, I would like to welcome Mr. Abhishek sir, Abhishek Rungta, Southern Zonal Head of Alankit Limited, and Ayush, Shivam, and Rohit, our members of the GST team. Now, I will hand over the stage to our GST team. Please. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Ayush.
Hello, I am Shivam.
I am Rohit,
Are you
GST
all
lead
audible?
Alankit.
Yes? Are you all GST ready?
Are you?
I think most of you are quite a lot sleepy. It's 3 p.m. In the afternoon. Can I hear about that? Are you all GST ready?
Sure.
A little bit louder. The point here is if you don't pay attention to us or to our team, you will lose in the middle. So all required is your attention and your awakeness. So are you all GST ready? I still can't hear you all. I can't see everyone's
Are you
face.
GST ready?
For next 3 hours.
We only three are. They are here. Everyone is not GST ready. So today, on behalf of Alankit Limited, let's welcome you to the GST seminar. And today you will learn how to be a GST Suvidha Kendra or how our solution will help you towards your GST journey. So let's start what GST is. So GST is basically a taxation regime where all the indirect taxations present in the market right now, like for central it's excise and all, have been merged into one tax regime. That means there will be only one taxation for all the country. For the whole country, there will be one tax. Earlier, there were different taxes for different states. Like in VAT, there was different VAT taxations, but excise was common. But now there will be only one taxation.
If you talk like previously, cumulative total 17 taxes were there. Now only one tax will be there, that is GST.
Now GST is more important to India because GST will increase our GDP growth, international competitiveness will increase by about 5%, and some more benefits like increased FDI, common market for all over India.
Previously, like the rate of like particular product was different in different states because VAT rate was different in different states. But now single rate will be charged on all the products.
So there will be a competitive market all over India.
So now the point is everyone is saying GST right now, GST has come to the market. But GST has not started its journey right now. It all started back in 2000 when the basic initiation of the GST was started. The whole journey is displayed on the stage, which starts from 2000 until 2017, where the actual GST has come, started on 1st of July 2017. The journey starts with the draft of GST to the law, Sabha, getting rejected, coming in again, and then getting rejected, and now finalized, and now it has started. These are all the existing tax structures available in the market.
Basically, there are two type of indirect taxation system in India, like central tax and state tax. In central tax, there is central excise, service tax. In state, there is luxury tax, VAT.
Now these are the taxes which are subsumed in GST. In C, that is central GST, central level taxes have been cumulated. Central excise duty, additional excise duty, service tax, countervailing duty, ADC and surcharge. And then state GST, state level taxes have been cumulated, VAT, purchase tax, entertainment tax, luxury tax, etc.
Now, this all was those histories. Now let's come to the practicality. Now, these two words which are on the screen, migration and new registration, you must have heard. But what are those if you are not aware about? Let's start with the first word, which is migration.
Migration. Because if you are basically registered in the current tax regime, that is in VAT or excise or service tax, you will be migrated to GST. And if you are not registered, you are going to get registered, then it will be registration.
Now for migration, as I've shown, on 1st of July, that is the appointed date, which has been slashed. Before that, there was your old previous number. Now you will get a provisional registration certificate. Why provisional? Because your documents are in scrutiny and within 6 months your final certificate will be issued. However, the number will be issued to you right now. For the new registration, all those persons who have not been registered right now will get themselves registered.
There are basic requirements for threshold limit will be the requirement, and some other means compliances will be there for the registration. Like registration, there are basically, we have divided that into 3 slabs. First one is not liable, second is compulsory liable, and third will be the voluntary registration. Not liable if you're providing exempt supplies or if your threshold turnover is less than 20 lakh or you are an agriculturist. Compulsory liable with respect to threshold limit based on threshold, and the other one will be the voluntary basis.
Now, this is all getting confused. I guess I can see your on faces. For the registration, the point here is that you fall under the ambit of GST. You have to take into consideration that whether GST is applicable to you or not. How you will check it? Then these are the 3 slabs. Supposingly, you fall under the second slab, which is compulsory liable. How you will be compulsory liable, I'll come to the second slide. But then you have to see whether you are liable or not. There's one more slab which is voluntarily. Anyone who wants to have a GST number can voluntarily apply. No one has restricted to do that. But if you are in the first 2 slabs, you have to see for it. Because in case you do an exempted supply or something like this, though there is no taxation in GST, as of now 1200 items are there where there is no tax. So if you fall under those categories, you are not liable to take GST registration.
I would like to add on, basically GST is basically a compilation of all the indirect taxes. So there are some concept of service tax, some of excise, and some are of VAT. Like for voluntary registration, there was a concept in VAT also and in the service tax also that you can take a voluntary registration.
Now, there is one more thing here. There is nothing called sale or service.
There will be only a single word that will be supply.
So can I hear that word now? Supply. There is
GST will be
nothing
supply
called
based,
sale.
okay.
There is nothing called sale. There is nothing called service. Everything in GST is called as supply.
Closer to
Okay.
Now this is the threshold limit for registration. If your aggregate turnover exceeds 10 lakh in northeastern states, then you have to compulsorily get registered under GST. Similarly, for other states, it is 20 lakh. Like in preceding financial year, your turnover exceeds 20 lakh, then you have to compulsorily get registered under GST. But for northeastern states, it is 10 lakh.
In northeastern states, government have notified 11 states like HP, Sikkim, Assam, and some other states. And for the other like Kochin, Kerala, like for Kerala, it will be 20 lakh limit.
So if your turnover in previous financial year exceeds rupees 20 lakh, then you are compulsorily liable to get yourself registered. That will be the registration threshold.
Now these are the conditions where you have to compulsorily get registered under GST irrespective of the turnover limit. First is interstate supply. Then interstate supply is basically if you are supplying goods from Delhi to Kochi. Okay. Then if you are liable to pay tax under reverse charge, if you are a non-resident taxable person, if you are a person who is liable to pay deduct tax, and if you are an agent or you are ISD, these are the conditions where turnover limit will not apply. You have to get registered under GST.
These are the list where everyone is required to get registered. There is no threshold here. If you even supply for 1 rupee, then also you are liable to get yourself registered. Now, interstate supply is very big concept. Rather than everyone is it's not dominating enough. Interstate supply is very important. Where you supply from one state to another, you are liable to get yourself registered. That will be the compulsory registration without threshold, which I showed to you earlier.
And the other will be the reverse charge basically because if you are purchasing from an unregistered dealer, then you have to pay the GST on reverse charge basis.
So if you are paying GST on reverse charge, you are liable to get yourself. Now there are some important points under GST. Same goes to the previous acts also. 20 lakhs is the threshold limit. Everyone with me right here? But when you have to register, if your turnover doesn't exceed 20 lakh in the previous year, but it does in the current year, so you have to get yourself registered. But when you will have to do that? You have to do that when your turnover exceeds 19. That means if your turnover has started exceeding 19 lakh, you go and get yourself registered before it crosses 20. So you have to get yourself registered before it does that.
And when your turnover exceeds 19 lakhs, you have to get registered in the 30 days itself.
30 days time period would be applicable here.
Further, if you have like many business verticals in particular one state, then you may opt for like separate registration, or you can opt for single registration.
It will be starting from 1st of April.
April. Financial year means 1st of April to 31st of March. So it will be counted from that. And one more thing, which my friend has said, if you have a business in multiple verticals, so you have to take registration for each state separately. State specific registration would be there. So if you are doing business in Delhi, Cochin, Ahmedabad, Mumbai, then in each state there will be one different GST number, which is GST and GST identification number will be different for each state. State specific registration number will be issued to you on one PAN only.
And even in the same state, if you are carrying on two business, that is basically a business vertical. Two different type of businesses you are carrying on, then you have to separately get yourself registered for both the businesses.
Business verticals will be registered separately, state specific registration will be done separately, but everything will be done on the single PAN. PAN is compulsory in GST.
And your PAN will also be covered in your GSTIN number, that is your GST identification number.
There will be some differences between the number. Every number will be having some different codes, state specific codes, but the PAN number will same.
Now coming to composition scheme, basically GST has like increased your compliances. So large businesses can like handle compliances, but government has like introduced a remedial measure for the small manufacturers. So they can opt for composition scheme. If your turnover exceeds, it's not like if your turnover is like less than 75 lakh, you can go for composition scheme. And the composition rates will be for manufacturer, it will be 1%. For services, for trader, it will be 0.5%. And for restaurant service provider, then 2.5%.
I would like to add here, for manufacturer it will be 1%, for restaurant it will be 2.5%, for others it will be 0.5%. And these are the rates as per central goods and service tax. There are two taxes here, central and state, like it was before. State specific rates will be added as and when state notifies them.
So basically we are assuming that trader will be charged GST of 0.5% under CGST and 0.5% under SGST.
As per the communications, as per the law, every rate which come across to you, you must have heard that there is a rate of 18% on services. That 18% is half of CGST and half of SGST. So CGST is 0.5, then SGST is also 0.5. This is a prior assumption, but state specific rates will be issued, and as and when it is there, you have to apply it. So as of now, if I say if one person is a trader, there may be a chance that he will be liable at 1% instead of 0.5. Turnover for this is 75 lakh.
For your previous financial year. But for northeastern states like Himachal Pradesh and Sikkim, it will be 50 lakh.
Himachal Pradesh and Sikkim registration was different, composition scheme is also different. For registration it was 10
And for composition, it is 50.
For others it is 20 and for composition it is 75. Sir, what we can do is, let's just have one round of all which we have. Then we'll move on to the question answer session where everyone will be given the mic and you can out loud say so that everyone is able to hear what your question is and maybe your doubt is cleared by the other one. Okay, sir?
And your turnover limit will be for all businesses. It will not be for each and every business you are carrying on. It will be the total threshold limit.
So turnover will be seen on one pan basis.
Now, what is the motive of government for introducing composition scheme? Basically, composition scheme will reduce your compliances. You will have to just file one quarterly return instead of 3 monthly return in composition scheme. Plus, it will like reduce your maintenance. You don't have to like maintain the record and all. So it will reduce your compliance burden, basically.
So, you said one quarterly return and everyone is talking about returns. Let's come to the topic of returns only. Does anyone know how many returns a particular person has to file in a month?
Does anyone?
How many? 3. What are the names then? Sir knows a lot. There will be 3 returns in a month and every person is liable to file 37 in a year. Now if I calculate 3 into 12 plus 1 annual return.
And for that, your last date will be 31st December of the next year.
So now let's talk about return. What's the name of the first return? Does anyone know? Sir ke alawa. GSTR 1. What does it shows? Outward supplies. So GSTR 1 is outward supply. Please repeat with me. GSTR 1 is? GSTR 1 is?
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
What's the date of filing it? 10th of next month. 2 is inward supply.
Date is 15th. Okay. And third is GSTR 3. Date 20th.
3 is monthly return. So there will be 3 returns, GSTR 1, 2 and 3. Outward supplies, inward supplies and monthly return, 10th, 15th and 20th. That will be the way you learn it and you remember it. So if you come into the composition scheme, you have to file one return for every 3 months. Quarterly return, there will be less burden, but everyone doesn't fall in this bracket.
Like there is a threshold limit of 75 lakh and some other means if you are supplying interstate supply, then you can't opt for composition scheme.
If you are doing any services, then you can't composition scheme except restaurant services.
But as you all know, there is 2 sides of coins. Like composition scheme also, there are some advantages and some disadvantages. Like you can't be liable, you can't avail ITC on your inputs.
First of all, composition scheme is only available on supply of goods, not on services. Only services, only one exception has been made, that is restaurant service provider. If you are availing composition scheme, then you cannot raise a tax invoice, you cannot avail ITC, input tax credit, so your costing will like increase.
We'll come to what ITC is, what bill of supply is, all the things will be told to you in some time, but the point is if it's coming right now, we have to tell you the names, but detail will be informed to you after on. So these are the 2 types of invoices one person can file or has to issue, I would rather say. One is tax invoice, other is bill of supply. Can you please repeat with me? One is, other is?
There is no concept of retail invoice in GST.
Only tax invoice and bill of supply.
Retail invoice is no more available to anyone. There are only 2 invoices. One is, other is? Getting bored, I guess. A lot of people are, but please, this will build your way because these are the basic knowledges which you require under GST. This is not the final law. This is not the old or full law we are talking about. These are the glimpse of the laws which you require for your knowledge and for future that will help you in, under the GST regime.
Tax invoice is basically issued when you are providing tax, when you are supplying taxable goods or services. And if you are supplying like exempted goods or services, then bill of supply will be issued.
There is a difference. Tax invoice where tax liability is there, where you are issuing any invoice to a person where your goods are liable to tax. Whereas in bill of supply, the same is not. If you are issuing an exempt good, then you have to issue a bill of invoice. Or if you are under composition scheme, then also you are liable to issue bill of supply. Secondly, there is no requirement if you are issuing an invoice of rupees 200 or less. If you are issuing an invoice of rupees 200 or less, you can issue one invoice on your bill in a month, maybe quarterly, maybe monthly, weekly, or a day.
So basically, there will be the aggregate entries for all the invoices of amount less than 200. And in the case of bill of supply, you cannot avail input tax credit. As you all will be aware, there will be the HSN code and SAC code. HSN code is
ये क्या हो रहा है? इसको जाके करियो। रुक जा, आगे। Sorry for the interruptions.
HSN code, harmonized system of nomenclature, shall be mentioned in your invoice. And for services, this will be for goods. And for your services, that will be service accounting code.
There are
HSN is basically the coding system introduced by the government. Like if your turnover is less than 1.5 crore, then you don't have to mention HSN code anywhere. If your turnover is between 1.5 crore to 5 crore, then you have to mention HSN code up to 2 digit. And if your turnover is like above 5 crore, you have to mention up to 8 digit. Matlab full HSN code you have to mention.
each good and service will have a different HSN code. If you want to know what HSN code is applicable to you, you can log on to www.alankitgst.com. There's a tab where you can find the HSN code relevant to you. You can search what item you want to sell. Search the HSN code. Every invoice, if your turnover is exceeding 1.5, you have to issue an invoice with HSN coding. The code will tell the description of what item you are selling. But the same is not applicable on SAC. Yani ki service accounting codes, there will be no applicability of each. You have to mention which service you are giving.
And even if you are exporting goods, then you also have to mention full HSN code of 8 digits.
HSN coding starts with like chapter, subheads. So these will be the line of coding which you can see on the website there, and you will find what are the relevant HSN codes applicable to you.
These are the basically particulars of tax invoice. You have to write the name of the party, your GSTI number, description of goods or services, and your invoice should be a serially numbered. Suppose after 01, you have to issue 02, 03, it should be serially numbered. Then you have to mention the HSN code, quantity, and IGST and CGST or SGST rate you have to mention on your tax invoice. This is the basically format of the tax invoice. These are the like mandatory requirements you have to mention. Although format can be changed, you can put the format on your consideration, but these are the mandatory fields you have to mention. This has been introduced by the government, like these are the details you have to mention.
This is a general format issued by the government. There is no specification on you making your own format. Format is free to be done. You can prepare any format, only the required fields. Supposingly, if you have a GSTIN, that's a required mandatory field. So you have to mention your field, GSTIN, and same ways you have to mention the GSTIN of the buyer in case that is there. So these are basically the invoice date is mandatory, invoice invoice number is mandatory, value column is mandatory. So these mandatory columns are to be there in your invoice in the format which you want to create.
I
Free.
would like to add on here basically because every detail we have to provide from the invoice itself in our returns. So there is means invoice is really important for us.
Earlier there was a concept of giving party specific transactions. Now there is no such concept. In GSTR 1 you will give invoice by invoice details of your sale. Then in GSTR 2 it will be for the purchases. I'm talking about sale and purchases because that words are familiar to you. But if I talk in terms of GST, it will be supply. On 10th, outward supplies. On 15th, inward supplies. That means or whatever you have bought will be shown under 15, the return. And there you will show invoice by invoice what amount have been taken. And invoice number matching is also compulsory under GST. So you have to fill exact invoice number which you received.
And the invoice should be serially numbered because if you skip an invoice number, there will be a penalty under GST.
Although series can be different for every specific industry, supposedly you have two business verticals, series can be different for them, but still it should be continuous.
Like A0001 or B0001, you can issue according to yourself, alphanumerical wise, but that should be serially numbered.
Serial number of invoicing is very compulsory, otherwise there is a penalty also for not issuing that. There is a penalty for even not issuing an invoice. So, under invoice, these are some columns which we have shown. This is a general description of what you have to do. We'll start with the serial number, the number of goods you want to send, description, HSN code, quantity, rate, unit amount. Then there is a discount. You must have heard that a thing is liable to discount. You just write the final amount, whatever the discount is. But now you have to write the discount on the invoice itself. And then you have to put the tax liabilities and then total.
The taxable amount will be after discount itself, then you will be bifurcated into CGST or IGST, or it will be IGST itself.
So anyone aware of type of taxes in GST? Any idea? Three types. It's visible, although in GST there are three types of taxes: CGST, SGST, IGST. CGST is Central Goods and Service Tax. SGST is State Goods and Service Tax. And IGST is Integrated Goods and Service Tax. If you are like supplying goods or services within the state, like between in Kerala itself, so CGST and SGST will be charged. Suppose the particular tax rate is 18%, then CGST will be 9%, SGST will be 9%. But if you are like making supply of goods or services interstate, like from Kerala to Delhi or from Kerala to Bangalore, then IGST will be charged at a flat rate of 18%.
IGST is basically a compilation of CGST and SGST.
So, if I talk to a sum equation, CGST plus SGST is equal to IGST. But this is done because a particular tax amount has been bifurcated into two. Half of the share will be of central, half will be the state. But this is applicable only in case where you do intra-state supply. And that means if you sell between Cochin to Cochin, that's between a state or any of the place between a state, then the amount will be shown here. I go back to the invoice. I just go back to the invoice. There is a column called CGST and SGST. So you will write 9% here, the amount, 9% here, the amount. So you have to bifurcate the amount, whatever the rate government has specified. Government has specified the rates, but those rates are composite. It has to be bifurcated in case there is an intra-state supply, but the same will be added just in the IGST section and the amount. In case of intra-state supply, if someone sells from here or someone even brings some goods from outside state, the rate will be applicable as IGST rate. The amount will be entered here itself in the invoice. This is a descriptionary. You can prepare any format of invoice. If you are only selling to the other states, just put the IGST column. That's a sufficient compliances. But if you are doing it from within and outside state, just put 3 columns. That will be able to help you guide better while you are filing the return.
Let us revise this, because if we are supplying within a state, then it will be CGST and SGST. And if you are supplying or purchasing from outside the state, there will be a liability of IGST.
This is very important. This is the only basic concept in GST. GST has three taxes, three type of different situations. You have to focus on what you are doing. Otherwise, invoice is there, and even return filing will be done on the basis of invoice. So if you don't deduct invoice on correct amounts, on correct statements, there will be a problem. So you have to know what the actual rate is. So how many taxes of GST are there? What are those? CGST, SGST, and IGST. So you have to remember these three taxes while you are deducting an invoice.
When is CGST and SGST charged? CGST and SGST. Interest. IGST.
And it will be in the both cases, in purchase and in sale also. So basically, IGST will be the combination of CGST and SGST.
So let's move to the next section, which is return, which we have already discussed. It's on the screen right now. There are 9 returns, 9 forms. Right now, the return section is there, 10, 15, 20th, and for which we have discussed composition scheme, that's 18th of the next quarter.
This is the basically relaxation given by the government for the month of July and August. Since GST has been like just implemented. So government has given relaxation to the taxpayer. For the month of July, your GSTR 3, it is named as GSTR 3B. You have to file it on 20th August. And for the month of August, your final return, that is GSTR 3 or GSTR 3B, you have to file it on 20th September. Or
See the dates on the screen. Yeah. You can see the dates on the screen. These are also available at gst.gov.in. They have given the time schedule and also at alankitgst.com. These, yes.
Yes, sir. Basically, because they are just answering, they are just requiring the basic details in your final return. That is GSTR 3B. It is not GSTR 3. The government has introduced a new form, that is GSTR 3B, for the simple explanation of GSTR 1 and 2.
basically,
Because
this is a
in the
simple
beginning
form of.
itself, it will be tough for the people.
For the first 2-3 months where the GST is implemented, it will be very tough for everyone to know what actual requirement is. For even filing, if you are aware, I guess there is a different situation that you have to only do the invoicing. There is no compulsion on invoicing even for the next 30 days. You are free to do that. You are even free to get yourself registered right now. Everyone is in a process of registration. So how can we, as a government, can expect from you to file your return on 10th of next month? So they have
When you are
given
not even
little bit of
registered.
relaxation, so that you can actually get aware what GST filing will be. The first will be on 20th.
GSTR 3B on 20th September for the 20th August for the month of July, and GSTR 3B on 20th September for the month of August.
These are not the actual returns. These are just a simple form where you will provide the details.
Like your sales, purchase, and all your tax liability will be there in 3B.
This will be more like a statement only. But final returns will be done from the next month onwards. And even GSTR 1 and 2 has to be filed for those months. But certain relaxations are always there.
After
Just
2
because
months,
for the implementation purpose.
after 2 months, normal return procedure will start, as I told you.
Normal return 1, 2, 3, 10, 15, 20. That will be strict. And 100 rupees penalty if you don't file it on time
100 rupees per day.
per day.
Now, for the month of July, GSTR 1 will be filed on 5th September and GSTR 2 will be filed on 10th September. Similarly, for the month of August, GSTR 1 will be filed on 20th and GSTR 2 will be filed on 25th September.
So all the return formalities will be done up till September for July and August. But then from September onwards, you have to do it from 10th of October, 15th of October and 20th October.
But this will be just for 2 months.
Yeah. Next onwards, you have to file it on the time. Input tax credit, that's more like service tax credit, excise credit, VAT credit. all those words which you must be aware, half of them is applicable. Even there is a business vertical where all credits are applicable. So everything is merged, so is the credit. There will be one credit only. But now, since we have 3 taxes, there will be 3 tax credits amount ledgers also. Output liabilities, 3 ledgers, then input liability also 3 ledgers.
Does everyone know what is input tax credit?
All are aware of input tax credit? Input tax credit is basically setting off your tax liability from the taxes you have already paid to someone. Suppose your tax liability is 100 rupees and you have already paid taxes of 80 rupees on your purchases. Then your net tax liability will be 20. You can utilize that tax as paid, 80 rupees from your tax liability. That is input tax credit in simple words.
We will show you how the invoicing can be done, how the utilization will be done through some examples which will be relevant for you in the market. But first let us brief you what the base is. If I don't show you the base, there will be no point in showing you the examples. So let's move on to the ITC section. If there is any supply of any goods or services, there will be 3 tax liabilities: input, input services, and capital goods. I guess if you are not about input services where you avail any service, which is now a supply. Inputs where you purchase any good, which is now a supply. So I'm merging those 2 inputs. Now there is a capital good where you buy a heavy machinery or some items where the production is there. You get capital goods there. So capital good credit. There were a lot of traders who used to buy machineries, but they couldn't get the benefit of excise duty paid on it. So now that excise duty benefit will be done, octroi, your travel taxes, all those taxes, since it has been subsumed in GST, all the benefit is now available. So that will actually create reduction in your cost.
And same
How
for the
many
service provider.
traders are there? Is there any trader here? No one? Any manufacturer here? So for those persons, if we are talking, most of our 10 FCs, right? Yes? So if anyone comes to you, who is a trader, who is a manufacturer, you can explain to them that under GST, their tax burden will be reduced because they will get the credit of what they are buying. That's one benefit they get. That chain mechanism is there.
And same will be the concept for the service provider. Like for all the offices, we purchases ACs, furniture, and we used to pay VAT excise on that. But now we will be able to avail the credit of that.
In GST, actually, if you have utilized any type of goods or services for the furtherance of your business, for the business activity, then seamless credit will be available in GST. Previously, it was not there. There was some restriction, but in GST, it will be available.
So, just one basic benefit here. If the credit is available in the previous acts and it is available in the GST, the credit is available to you. But there are certain exceptions which they have specifically said there is no credit on those items. One is motor vehicles. There is no credit available on motor vehicles except those written over here. If item fall under these categories, there is no credit available to you. You can't avail the credit under the ineligible section, which is, I guess, section 17, which specifically states that no credit is available.
Like goods services used for personal uses, you will not be able to claim the credit for that. It will be just for the furtherance of business.
There is one question a lot of time asked by people that whether food and beverages credit is available if they take the employees out or even some vendor out. So it's not available in GST. It has specifically been excluded here. Same goes for any treatment. Same goes for rent a cab. All the benefits are not available in the GST. These are the exclusion list. We talked about composition scheme. The credit is also not available in case of composition scheme. There are many advantages. So is the disadvantages. That you can't avail credit. Even the person buying from you will not be able to avail the credit.
And you can't even collect the taxes from in the composition scheme. You have to pay by your pocket itself.
mismatch of invoices. So there is a concept of issuing an invoice, and everyone with me, this is the backbone of GST. GST's backbone is this particular line written over the screen, mismatch of invoice. Everything will be roaming around this section only for the next years. Why mismatch? Let's take an example. He is one person, he is the other person. He has issued the invoice to him. He will report it on 10th in his outward return, saying, I have sold this amount, this GSTIN, this person name, this place, this item code, this tax to him. He will show it on 15. Why? Because his supply, outward supply is his inward supply. Everyone here with me is right. Is this particular concept clear to you? Because if I move forward, I can't come back here. Everyone with me here, right? His outward supply is his inward supply, right? He will sell, he will receive.
He will file his sales return on 10th. I will file my purchase return on 15th. So government will be able to track what he has reported in his sales return and what I have reported in my purchase return. So if
Now I will come in between. I am the mismatch section. I will be downloaded on 11th of next month. He will file on
The
10th.
10th.
I will come on 11th. I will come and say to him, see, I have so many persons reporting against you that you have taken
Purchase.
goods from them. He is the only one.
Yeah. I will be basically mentioning my sales.
Because he will be buying from plenty of persons.
I'm a purchaser, I have like supply n number of supplier. So my n number of supplier will file their return on 10th. So I will be able to track all my purchases in the form of GSTR 2A, which is auto-generated on the website.
Generated on 11th. 11th it will show that how many mismatches can be there. Supposingly, he has shown an invoice where he has written invoice number 11. But he is going to file on 15th, but before that I will come and say 11 number invoice belongs to you. But he has the invoice and invoice is 12. There will be a mismatch. The credit won't be available to him.
So basically,
So-
there will be match between my sales register and his purchase register.
So everyone has to do the matching before 15. He has to do the matching because he has to pay the tax. His outward liability depends on the input. If input is not available, he has to pay more tax. So I will come on 11th and say, CC, this is the amount available to you. So now he will be reconciling that from his purchase register. He has to see what he has bought from him, from others, and what is as per his purchase register. There may be a mistake from his end, he can correct it, but there may be a mistake on his end also. So what he will do is, on this 11, 12, 13 and 14, he will get time to reconcile because the main point is reconciliation of input. He will file the updated return on 15. Now what he will do, if there is a mistake on his end, he will correct in between these 4 days. But if there is a mistake on his end, he will do on 16th and 17th. Those are not part of the return sections. Those are not there in the return sections. But this is the actual compliance is here. This is the practicality which you have to go through. Every 10th to 20th, you have to do this. 10th, sales return, 11, 12, 13, 14, two-way reconciliation for his purchases. 15th, he'll file the return.
And then
16.
1A will be generated on 16th and 17th. So that I can see what he have mentioned.
Will be shown to him. He will correct it on 1A. Now the final tax liability will be paid.
I would also like to add what Ayush said. Although we have to file 37 GST return, but in simple words, we don't have to file 37 because on 10th, when my supplier will file his return, all the suppliers will file return. Their supply data will be generated in 2A. If my purchases is matching with that supply data, then I don't have to input my purchases. I can directly file in the form of GSTR 2.
This is called auto-populated.
This is called auto-population.
He just
I
has to reconcile.
populated in between these two transactions. He has no filing compliances for 15th. He has to just accept or reject. That's it.
And even on 20th, I have filed my sales return. I know my tax liability. I have filed my purchase return. I know what ITC I have. On 20th, there will be a reconciliation will be shown. It will directly show you what your tax liability is. And I don't have to like put lot of efforts in GSTR 3.
So there will be in
Compliance is easy, not that burdensome.
Compliances are easy. Compliances are very much easy in GST. It's just that the process is what we have to go through. The process is very much simple. If you are aware with me, if you are here with me, you must be known. 10th is the outward return. Then till 15th you have time for reconciliation. 15th is the inward return. Then 2 days for his reconciliation again. And then 3 days to pay the tax and file the final monthly return.
That will be 18, 19, and 20. And for this, Alankit, the GSP will be providing a one-stop solution for you all that will be named as Alankit Munimji.
Alankit Munimjis are the software name. It's the advanced level of Munimji, which is available to you for your one-stop solution for GST return filing, which we will show you in some time. That will be required, which will be helpful for you to file the returns. Even this 4 days time will be done by him only. You don't have to do that. Everything will be done by the software. It's just that you have to go accept and reject. That is your basic purpose which you have to do.
These are the basically conditions for availing ITC. You should have a valid documents. You should have like ITC should be on only a last lot or installment. Your supplier should have actually paid the tax in order to avail ITC. Then your buyer must have filed the return, right? Because in return only he will mention his invoice, and then the government will be able to track like what invoice he has filed.
Every place in GST, there is one thing which is very important: invoice. So if you want to avail the credit, you should have a valid invoice. If someone wants to avail the credit from your invoice, he should have the invoice. Invoice is very much mandatory. Although free to design, but specific columns are mandatory. But invoice has to be issued.
As there is no revision of returns in the GST regime, so there will be invoice will be really much important for us.
This concept, set of heads. Let's talk about politics. That will be the best way to learn it. And if you learn it, then only you will be able to account it. Accounting is must. So let's move on to the set of heads. Everyone knows Kejriwal and Modi. Everyone does.
Aware of the relationship?
They don't meet, right? They don't come in a same plate. Everyone knows the third person, President of India, Pranab Mukherjee, right? I'll take the example here. He is Mr. Modi, CGST. Central, Modi. He is Mr. Modi, Central GST. Central is handled by Mr. Modi, so he is the central guy. Every tax collected under the head of CGST will go to him. SGST, let's talk about Delhi because that will be easy. In every tax collected under the head of SGST will go to Kejriwal, IGST. That's the combination of two. Let's make it Mr. Pranab Mukherjee. Everyone with me right here? So
What is CGST? CGST.
So under IGST, if you see here, under CGST and SGST, under preference section there is no SGST, under preference section there is no CGST. Because Modi and Kejriwal will not come together. So if you have output liability of CGST, you can't adjust it with the input of SGST. CGST and SGST will never come together. That's why I mentioned it very clearly. 3 output accounts, 3 input accounts, because you have to separate what CGST input is, what SGST input is, and what IGST input is. With me, CGN and SGST cannot be together. So if you have an output liability of CGST, you have to set off it against CGST.
So if you
to the next level in some time.
If you have like made sale of 100 rupees, you have paid CGST 20 rupees, SGST 20 rupees, and you have availed, you have like pending credit of SGST of 20 rupees. So you will firstly utilize that 20 rupees against SGST. SGST will be utilized against only SGST.
Now
CGST will first prefer CGST, SGST will first prefer SGST, and IGST will first prefer IGST.
Everyone will prefer their own head. Everyone will prefer their own heads. CGST will always prefer CGST first. SGST will prefer SGST. IGST will prefer IGST. Now come to the IGST section. He is Mr. Pranab Mukherjee. He is the closest to central. So first preference is central. Second is Mr. Kejriwal. And now this preference schedule is here. CGST output liability will be first adjusted against CGST inputs, then IGST. Why IGST? Because Pranab Mukherjee can't describe कि I will belong to you or him. He has to be the same person for both of them. So he will be available to both of them.
So IGST does not have a conflict between CGST and SGST.
They can be utilized against each other, but not CG and SGST. They will not come together. These are very important here because when you do the actual bookings, when you do the actual accounting, this will be followed in the return also. While you have to pay the tax, you have to pay the tax under three heads. CGST, SGST and IGST. You have to set off under three heads. So output liability will be determined in this way only. The best way to remember is Modi ji and Kejriwal never together. Pranab Mukherjee is available to both of them. So now the point is these two rules are there. Third rule is Pranab Mukherjee's preference will be Modi first because you have to first adjust CGST. We'll show you by examples this one. We'll take you to the examples where you will see how you will do the billings and how this adjustment will be done.
I would like to add on basically, even in the current tax structure also, we can't take a credit against excise of VAT and VAT against excise.
State taxes are different, central are different. No input is available to both of them. So in this also, state and central are different. This is what we were talking about.
Suppose you have made intra-state supply, that is in Kochi only. You have you are a registered manufacturer, you have taken goods for 1500 and you have paid GST, where CGST is 6%, SGST is 6%, 90 rupees and 90 rupees. The total amount you have paid is 1680. Now you have, as a supplier, you have sold that goods for rupees 2000 and you have paid GST at the rate of 12%, where you have paid CGST, GST for 120 and 120. Now when you will utilize your ITC, first of all, your CGST liability is 120 and CGST credit available to you is 90 rupees. So you can utilize that CGST credit against CGST and your remaining will be 30. For same goes for SGST. Your SGST liability is 120 and SGST credit is 90. So remaining you have to pay to government is 30. So this is like for intrastate supply. I told you now, like in intrastate CGST and SGST is charged. So when you are selling, then also CGST and SGST you have to pay. When you have purchased within state, you have to pay CGST and SGST.
Now let's just move.
Let's just revise first of all.
The
Basically,
transaction is between Cochin to Cochin. Yeah, Tushar.
let's just revise first of all. As we earlier mentioned, that GST will be bifurcated under two parts. If within a state, it will be bifurcated between CGST and IGST in two equal parts. Like here we have mentioned GST is 12%, CGST is 6 and SGST is also 6.
Now we were talking about the set of part also. You are doing transaction between the states, therefore the rates are bifurcated into two. Right? Everyone with me here? Now, the indirect taxation regime will always say that the consumer is the final taxpayer. All tax will be borne by that final consumer. There will be two taxes, direct and indirect. Direct is borne by you, indirect is collected by you. You never pay it. The buyer pays it. We'll talk about the prospect of buyer here. Buyer has paid this much tax, 120, 120. 240 is paid by buyer, right? Now, this tax is actually conducted in steps. These are the first step. This has sold to this one, this has sold to the final buyer. Now, the 1500 is bifurcated under 6 and 6 as per GST within the states because we are talking about Cochin to Cochin. Now, 9090 under CGST and SGST is paid. Now again, output liability is separated because CG and SGST have to be two different accounts. 180 is paid here. Now, he has sold his good to this person who has made the sale of 2,000 rupees to final buyer. He has charged 12% again, 6 bricks, 240 rupees. But he will not pay 240 here because all 180 has already been paid by the previous person. This is the input tax credit which we are talking about. This is the amount which you will get the benefit. This amount will be reduced here. Again, CGST and SGST will not come together. So 120 minus 90, which is the CGST, 120 minus 90, which is the SGST.
And even remaining 30, you are not paying. You have collected it from the customer because in indirect taxation, final burden is on the consumer.
If you total it up, 180 plus 60, 240, which he has charged from the consumer. Under this is one of the myths here that GST is on your pockets. No, it is not. It is in the pocket of final consumer. If you are a mediocre, if you are a person in the center, it will not go into your pocket. It's just the cash deficit which you are going through. That liability and the treatments which you have to do. It will not come to your pocket.
Like in the interstate supply, because in the interstate supply, IGST will be charged. Like, as you can see in the example, IGST is charged at the rate of 12%. And the sale is made between Surat and Delhi. Then in Delhi, IGST is charged because the supply is made to Kochi. As you can see, on our purchases, we have paid 180 as IGST and 240 in Delhi. Basically, this now we can see 180 will be our input tax credit and the output liability will be only rupees 60, as there is an input available of rupees 180. But if we take the earlier concept, if CST is paid on the purchases made from Surat to Delhi, then we can't avail the credit of that taxes paid.
See, here it is a three-layer concept. You, for the timing, you imagine you are a registered trader in Kochi, Delhi. You have paid purchases from Surat, you will pay IGST. You have paid IGST of 180 rupees. Now when you are in Delhi, you have made sales in Kochi. Now again you will pay IGST because you have made interstate sale. So IGST which you have paid at Surat of rupees 180, you can utilize it against your liability of 240. So remaining what you have to pay is 60 rupees.
Why we are focusing on the state's name, the place name? Because place of supply is mandatory. That will only determine the nature of tax and how you will do it. If a tax is between two states, IGST is applicable. If I take you to the next slide, See, we talked about the rate being bifurcated into two if it is done in intra-states. See this. Cochin to Cochin, I'm bifurcating them into two. But it will not be bifurcated if it is being done outside the state. It will be one IGST. Same rate is not bifurcated here. Same is bifurcated here. This is how you will do the invoicing only. That's the step of doing the invoice. And this is shown here that Surat se Cochin, Cochin to Cochin. This is the where you will apply CG and SGST. But this is where you will apply only IGST because it's going outside the state. And one more point, registration is mandatory if he is doing this transaction.
Irrespective of the turnover limit.
But did you notice output liability is same in all the three cases? So there will be a competitive market all over India.
One more thing, we talked about Modi and Pranab Mukherjee's closeness. Have a look here. The person has paid IGST of 180 rupees. Now he's charging 120 under CGST and SGST. I have written 120. Now let's come back. IGST to IGST first. Then what? CGST, right? So CGST 120 minus. 0 is paid on account of CGST. Balance is being paid by the state under the state head, 60. Although treatment is same under all these three cases. First three cases, 180, 60. Next case, 180, 60. Next case, 180, 60. But the nature has changed in all the three cases. These are the backbone of doing GST, invoicing, availing credit. Basic examples. We are not talking about export, import, job worker is a case, Those are very different cases, separated. But these are the basic stuffs. CGST, IGST, and SGST, how you will do under 3 situations.
As for each supply, you have to issue an invoice, so there will be important to issue
The correct
invoice in the proper format.
The correct invoice. If I am selling to him, I have to issue a correct invoice. Because his place of supply will determine, and mine will also be there. So every matching will be done on the base of place of supply also. You have to mention under any return what's the place of supply. That's a mandatory column under invoicing.
And the place of supply is really important because the tax will be bifurcated between the central government and the state government. Because place of supply is only important if there is an intra-state supply. Like in IGST, the tax will be bifurcated between the central government and the state government.
Transition provisions. Everyone who has been registered now has to migrate. Everyone clear here? But migration process will take time. Your whole credits available here will be migrated to the new section, the GST section. Now I have done that. Appointed date. Why we are talking appointed date? The whole law says the appointed date, which is 1st of July 2017. On that date, credits available in the previous acts, will be carried forward under GST. But these are for the previously registered persons.
Whether it is of VAT, service tax, or central excise.
That will be carried forward. If it is of VAT, that will become which credit? SGST. If it is of excise, it will become CGST credit. That will be shown on your dashboard while you file the return, that all the returns, but there is a mandatory thing that you have to file the 30th June return. Unless and until you file that return, you won't be able to see it. You have to file that return.
And one more thing, you have to file Form Trans 1 for taking your credit available.
And availing the credits. There are forms for transitions also. Supposingly a person is there whose goods are liable to taxes, but he is not getting the benefit of all the taxes he has paid. Supposingly the tax of excise duty is paid, VAT is paid, but he will not get the benefit of all because he is a trader. So now he has to file the Trans 1 form showing the goods available on 30th June so that he can avail all the credits available on that stock.
And the last date for filing Trans 1 is 90 days from the appointed date. That is from 1st July.
There are 2 rules under transition provision which are not for registered persons. Supposingly you are not registered before. Talking about him not registered before. Now he has to take the credit because how will he work if he doesn't get the credit? So we are talking about the 2 rules, the 60-40 rule and the 30-20 rule.
And I even didn't take the credit, my cost will increase, so the burden will be increased on the consumer itself.
So you have to take the credit. This is quite a lot boring concept, but let's do that. 60-40 for unregistered person. We have always said the rate will be bifurcated under 2, CGST and SGST. In case of intra, so if the rate is greater than 9, take the benefit at 60%. If it is less than 9, take the benefit at 40%. 40% of what? The invoice which is available against your purchases. If you have a valid invoice which is not more than 1 year old, you will get the benefit. Government is ready to give you the benefit. The requirement is the invoice. You are required to take the benefit because that will help you to reduce cost.
And if that is not an invoice, then you must have some paper that proves that you have paid the taxes on your purchases.
Take the 40% benefit or the 60% benefit. Not clear yet? Let's see an example. The above section shows the 60% benefit. Below is the 40% benefit. This is your existing tax structure. If there is a stock of 100 rupees, 12.5 excise duty is paid, VAT is paid, total cost to supplier is 125. If you are not registered, you will end up paying 125 rupees, right? That is your cost, 25 rupees. But let's see how the cost gets reduced to 111. Everyone has heard GST will reduce cost, GST will reduce cost. This is how it will do. 100 rupees, rate is 14, 14, 28, highest slab. 28 rupees, commercial value is 128. I have always said 9 and above take what percentage of benefit? 60. 60 of 28 is your benefit. Take that. Your selling price becomes 1.2. Cost gets reduced by 13 rupees. Same goes for the below section where cost gets reduced by more than 13 rupees because the value is 66. The tax is 12. You take 40% of 12. The balance is your cost.
And the benefit will be ultimately transferred to the consumer itself.
End up reducing the cost, end up increasing the GDP, end up increasing your scope. Because if you pay less, you earn more. A benefit lost is a benefit gain.
So it is advisable to get yourself registered under GST if you are unregistered right now.
Same applies for the IGST. Because this is where the earlier transaction was where you were doing intrastate. But if you do intrastate, if I sell to him, he sells to him, what will his benefit will be? His benefit will be determined on 30-20 rule. Same goes, 30% if rate is greater than 9, 20% if rate is greater than
This condition is same, only the rate has been reduced, like it has been halved. From 40 it is 20%, from 60 it is 30%.
Rate of taxes under GST. Like we have given some example of exempt services, as there are 4 type of taxes. First one is 0 rated, nil rated. Second is 5%, then 12, 18 and 28. And some are the exempt supplies like live animal, meat and edible, meat, offal, fish, dairy products and natural honey.
What you can do is, we'll wait for fraction of seconds on each slide. You can go through all the slides and see if anything is available to you or in your mind, you can see here. If that is not the extreme, this is not the extreme list. Maybe there will be. So you can always log on to our website. We are always updating that website with respect to these things. So you'll be able to find whatever you want. But these are little bit of examples what GST is doing. Supposedly, exempt are 1200 items. Can't put here. So we have just put those which are commonly used.
And these are of basic necessity to the final consumer, like common salt, fire or fuel wood, kumkum, bindi, municipal waste, sewage, sludge, clinical waste, printed books, etc. Now we will cover the 0% rate items like unpacked food grains, fresh vegetables, atta, besan, maida, milk, eggs. These are of the basic necessity to the final consumer. So the government is not charging any tax under GST on these products.
I'll just like to go back, just here. Remember I talked about 2 types of invoices. What were those? Tax invoice and if there is a tax percentage, you have to issue tax invoice. If there is no tax percentage, you have to issue bill of supply. These are where you will issue bill of supply. But coming to 0%, even though there is no tax percentage, you have to issue a tax invoice. 0% percentage is there. So you have to issue a tax invoice here. Same goes when you will reach to 5, 18, 28, 12, you have to issue a tax invoice where there is a percentage.
These are the 5% GST rate item: edible oil, sugar, life-saving API, peat, all ores and concentrates, kerosene, tar, coal, lignite, sand time bricks, and these are the other items you can see, you can analyze. It's a long list actually, so you can go through it.
For 12% item, there will be like fruit juices, formulations, sports goods, bicycle, spectacles, fountain pen ink, wood pulp, printed books, calendar, power driven water pumps.
He comes under 12% bracket now.
Under 18% GST rate item, basically services is covered. Financial services, telecom services, other API, petroleum coke, petroleum bitumen, copper bars, rods, wires, copper screws, nuts, bolts, nickel bars, rods, wires, lead plates, zinc goods, tin bars, whey proteins, hats and other hairgear, bale, typewriters, hair oil, toothpaste, soap, pasta.
28, the luxury section. All the luxuries will fall under this section only. They have tried to put all the luxuries here so that you buy the necessities. Juices, hotels, wallpaper, plasters, ceramic tiles, leather, yacht. Then there is AC, refrigerator. Even luxury cars will fall under this section. Even with cess also. So all those items where luxury is involved, basic necessities not there, will fall on the highest slab.
The most important supply for a normal consumer is FMCG goods. And for the FMCG goods, 81% items are charged under 18 or less rate.
So there is a network of GST. We'll talk about one thing very clearly here. GST doesn't accept papers. It's a paperless mode. This has go green. So you will not require to file any paper here. Earlier VAT also, if you file the return online, you have to sign it manually and go and submit it. Under excise also, there will papers required to be submitted. Nothing is required in paper here. Everything has to go online. I'm not talking about invoice wise. There may be a misconception that invoice has to be uploaded, scanned and uploaded. No, detail of invoices has to go. Everything will go paperless. So GST network has gone paperless.
As a TNFC, you must be very clear of this GST network thing.
GST network has appointed 34 companies, 34 big groups as their GST service providers, GSP. Alankit is one of them. We are one of the 34 companies who have been appointed as the GST Suvidha providers. What our role is? Our role is to facilitate what GST is to be done. There is an estimation that 80 lakh taxpayer will be there in the market once the GST comes into view. Now, if 80 lakh people go and hit their website, the website will go down. So for that facilitation, we are standing in between. Any company which prepares a software cannot link it with the GST network directly. He has to go through our route, the GSP route. Any person who has to file the return will go to that software or he will go online. If you go online, there will be a little bit troublesome situation because there will be bifurcation of stuffs. Everything has to be done manually. For reduction of cost, reduction of time, there will be some value added. So we will provide you the value added. Value added is filing the return, which is simplest, easiest, and the fastest route.
Like government has quoted some categories, that there are some categories you have to put your sales data into those categories, like business to customer, and there are certain categories, 14 categories. So the normal taxpayer is not aware of these categories. So it will be like cumbersome task for him to do that, to divide those sales into categories. So, but in our software, we will automatically divide all your sales into those categories.
14 categories are there. We'll just explain few of them to you so that when we go to the software, it will be familiar to your knowledge. One is B2B, business to business. BB's business. So if he has a GSTIN and he has a GSTIN, that's a business transaction. That will go and report it here.
And if I am not having a GSTN number, then I am a final consumer or an unregistered dealer.
So my transaction with him will be business to consumer.
And that will fall into B2C categories
B2C category.
automatically in the software.
This is not new words. These are already there in market since quite long time. They have used it now in the GST regime. Business to business, business to consumer. Now there will be one more category here. business to consumer large. What's large is where the value is 2.5 lakh or more. Invoice value of 2.5 lakh or more will be counted as business to consumer large. Less than it will be business to consumer small. One more thing. Does anyone know how to cancel an invoice? Anyone knows here how to cancel an invoice? You can't do that.
Yeah.
So in GST, you can't tear an invoice. That's the simplest way, yet the most difficult one. You have to amend an invoice. You have to go and change the particulars of an invoice.
You have to issue an credit and debit note
If
for
the
that.
amount is there, then credit and debit note. And if there's a discrepancy on the details which you have entered, you have to amend that invoice. You can't cancel a particular invoice once issued. That's like a fire gun. Once issued, it's gone. You can't take it back. You have to amend it.
And for both the categories, B2B or B2C, he have to issue a tax invoice. He can't issue a retail invoice. There is no concept of retail invoice under GST.
If he is a consumer, then also it's a tax invoice. If he is a buyer, if he's a business, then also it's tax invoice because there is no retail invoice. We were not there in the PPT.
But if he is providing exempt services, then he will be issuing bill of supply.
As I told, 34 companies are there. We are one and the rest 33.
And Alankit has been selected as GSP because Alankit has having experience of financial services from last 25 years. And we have 23 regional offices all over the India. And we have around 2200 tin facilitation centers all over the country.
More than 5,000 centers, greater coverage, so we can reach to the smallest point.
Even 3 international branches we have. So
Because as our name said, GST Suvidha provider. So we'll be providing the Suvidha to the final consumers.
And our Suvidha provider's name is GST. We told you there is a name to the software. Munimji. Yeah, it's little here. GST Munimji.
The advanced version of Munimji basically.
That's the ecosystem. Ecosystem, why we are talking about ecosystem? Everything is online now, right? Everyone has to file the return, use the digital signature, e-signatures, Aadhaar verifications, all has to be done online now. You can't use a paper now. So this is the website we are talking about, GST server, where 80 lakh people will go. This is you or the one coming to you who wants to file the return. We are here in between.
And we are going to provide our services through web portal, mobile app, accounting package, ERP and customized application.
basically a taxpayer will connect to us, then we, Alankit as a GSP will connect to the GSTN server. We can only connect. Government has like given its keys to us to connect to its server.
How Alankit can help you? This is how we will help you, Munimji. There are 2-3 things which we will be providing you.
That will make your journey
start
easier.
with the Golden Gateway first because that's the most unrelated topic and has to be finished first. Gateway is where a software company wants to link to the server of GST. We'll provide a way to him to link it there because he can't directly approach to them. He has to go through our way. So we'll provide him the gateway. That's the Golden Gateway.
Now the GST Suvidha Kendra. So basically for our tin facilitation center, we will be converting them to the GST Suvidha Kendra for the final traders and the consumers.
You people will be coming to you guys asking for their your support in filing of their returns. Monthly returns, 3 returns, you have to file their returns. That's the basic purpose of a Suvidha Kendra. Earlier, he can go and file to any person, but now he has to stick to filing monthly 3 returns. So he has to come, stick to one person who will file their returns. Because technology is advancing now. He will not be knowing a lot of things about GST. He will not know how to fill the return. It's you who have to help them in filing those returns.
And for the medium enterprise, you can provide our software solution that is known as GST Munimji.
That's a solution which you can provide. And one is the point of sale machine. Uh, this is the point of sale machine where there's a software installed in here. You can use this. I'll just explain the infrastructure here. This is the machine where you will do the billings. This will take all the data to your laptop and then to the server. Does anyone has heard about a cloud? Cloud, everyone knows cloud is, what is a cloud? Cloud is a place where you store your data in an hawa mein. It's all in the air. This is also a cloud right now, which you can't see. Wi-Fi works like that. Cloud also works like that. This is where your data will go. That's a backend of Microsoft's cloud. Microsoft is backing the cloud that will expand according to your requirement. Data will go from here to here using this laptop. What you can do with this device is you can file your, you can do
Issue
the
an
billing.
invoice.
First is the billing part.
You can swipe debit or credit card through that.
You can print the bills also from here. You won't be required to go and prepare the bills separately. All the data from here will transfer to the cloud, and even your accounting package will be done.
And
You
even
don't
you
have
can
to
scan the
account for it.
barcode of your products.
You can scan the barcode. It has swiping machine. It has billing machine. Everything will be done through this machine only. Sales are there. You can upload. You can type the purchases also. You can change the language also. For small traders, the necessity right now, because they will require what they have to do.
And it is really handy, and even it can be used as a cell phone.
It has two SIMs.
Yeah, multiple.
Multiple SIMs. So you can use the cell phone, you can take the payments, you can generate bill, you can do a lot of accounting work from here. So what we are doing right now is we are moving to what's the basic stuff is GST Munimji. We are going to the software now. Go back to the last page. Log in again. Go to the login. Just log out. Our software is a cloud-based software. So it's more like Facebook. You can access it from anywhere on your systems.
Even from your mobile phones.
Even from your mobile phones, you can access the system. Once you open the page, this will be the place where you can put your ID and password. We are doing it in front of you right now. We are putting an ID password. This is a demo version right now. The final version is still to come, but it's almost final because the law keeps on updating every day. Every day there is a separate notification. It keeps on updating. One more thing. The software gets automatically updated from backend because it's on cloud. We don't have to come to you and update it.
You don't
It will
even
be
have to
done
install
from the
it.
backend.
You don't even have to install it.
Alankit GST Munimji, that's the dashboard.
Now this will be the dashboard. This will be providing you the basic details related to you, like your party details, your item master, your e-com operators, your users, your taxpayer entities. And if you are having two entities, two different business entities, then you can add a new legal entity, new taxpayer entity. The software will be multi-user. Okay, so you can provide roles to your.
So what you can do is you can add new entity from here. From this section you will go and add an entity. What's an entity is? Entity is a different business GSTIN. Everyone has a one GSTIN. One GSTIN is one business entity for you. That entity will be added here. His GSTIN will be done and his username. This will be provided to you when the system is on air and you are going to do that work for him. That will be provided to you. Go back to the dashboard. This is the place where you can add multiple locations. Multiple locations can be added from here. Like this one place is there, you can add 2-3 places. Particular person has 3 locations in a certain state. All the 3 locations can be clubbed here.
But if there is a different business vertical, then it will be a new legal entity.
New legal entity, new business entity. This is the dashboard where all the compliances are done. One more thing. Anytime any person goes to any software I'm talking about, not just ours. He has to prepare a master. Just go back to the configuration. Just go to the configuration.
Here we have your item masters, like in which products you are dealing. What are your party masters, like your suppliers and your buyers, your tax masters, your e-com masters, your entity basically. Go to the entity.
Here we have done one thing, which is a particular item has a HSN code, which we talked about. HSN code, right? HSN code is there. Then we have written the IGST 18, CGST and SGST 99, which is the half. Now what this software will do, when you upload a wrong entry here, it will correct it from here. It will show that there is some mistake. Why? Because if you enter in the Excel or anywhere in the software while you are doing an entry, if you go and enter wrong things, if you end up writing anything wrong, if you want to punch 9, you wrote 8, the software will show that there is a mistake because you only told him that the rate to a particular item is 9. So the software will do that for you on behalf of you because you don't make up a mistake there because you will end up paying less tax.
And same for the HSN or SSE code also. Because if you even skip a number, that will show that you have conduct a mistake in that.
Same goes to the party master. You enter the parties where you do the transaction, you enter their GST INs. That's very important. If you enter the GST IN, what this will do is, that will pick the location of the party. So you end up doing the right billings because if the location is within the state, then you have to do CGST, SGST, and if it is outside the state, you have to do IGST. This will do from here itself. Master is very important in case of this software or any software which we are talking about.
So basically our software will be doing the role of a Munim Ji for yours. Now coming to the tax masters.
So tax master, where you will enter the transactions for the tax. Sorry, the net connectivity is quite slow here, so it takes a lot of time to open it. Otherwise, it's very fast. Let's move on to the dashboard. That will be better. We'll go to the outward supply. We have talked about entering an invoice, making an invoice. Let's do one thing. Let's create a sales invoice. I'll show how the software will do an invoicing. You will write the party name, state of the party, the state of supply. This will determine this tax amount here. Let's select one. If the transaction is between Assam to Assam, there's some network connectivity. I'm just disconnecting it. Let's get back to the software. We were talking about making invoices. Let's do that. It's showing that an invoice can be, there are two ways. Either you import the data through an Excel. Excel will show mandatory in red, others in black. So you don't you don't have to fill all the columns here, you just have to do the mandatory columns. This is showing the data which you have done. Just pause. What this has done is, you have filled the data in Excel, you have imported into the software, right? Just going to the second step, we'll add it on later. You have done this, that you have added. When you save the invoice, it has shown there is a mistake. Which mistake is that the item is not matching with the masters. I told you master is very important. It has showing that item is not matching with the masters. You open it, just pause it here. It is showing that the item is not matching with the master. You go and fetch the details. It will show that their HSN code is mistake. So it has gone to fetch, and then it has been corrected now. There may be a mistake of last digits also. Item description is there. He'll fetch it from the item description and show that the HSN code is there, which is on the mistake. So it will automatically fetch that HSN code and correct the invoice. Then you save that. The whole data gets uploaded.
The whole data gets uploaded to our server.
Yeah, one more thing. Anything done on our software will not go to GST in server, unless you do so.
So
There's
basically, it
two
will be a
ways.
two-step process for you. One, the data will be saved on our portal, then it will be transferred to GSTN portal by your wish.
One
You
is the clouds, which we are talking about. This is our cloud, where the data has gone now. The data will go to our cloud, stay there unless you tell them to send it to the GST network. One more thing. We talked about a golden gateway, right? So we have the gateway. We have the key to the GST-IN. So what you can do is, just here, you get the data. What you can do is, there's a button called Save to GST-IN. What you can do is, right now, just press that button. The data will go and stand there at the GSTN network. It will go and get saved there. But it will not be counted as filing of return. This is done so because there may be plenty of clients to you. You have to file the return on 10th, but the client has not yet confirmed, but it's confirmed from your end. Just click the Save to GST-IN, the data will go there. This will reduce the time at the filing of return, because there may be chance that the network is not working, the site is down from the GSTN server, not from our side, because our data is compatible and it's expandable. The site is down from the GSTN side. So that will reduce because your data is standing there. The data flow will not be done. Only the signatures are there, which you will
can
sign.
even upload and update the data on our software on day-to-day basis.
Yes, you can just upload the invoice on day-to-day basis. The data will go here. The data will go here, and all the data can be done. Now, just pause here. There is one summary section: sales, credit debit note, aggregate entries, saved to GSTN. I'll go to the summary section first. We talked about transaction being divided into 14 categories. Summary will show that. I'll show you in the actual software right now. It's a video because the network connectivity is slow. I can show you that a particular invoice, once entered in the software, will be bifurcated on its own as B2B, B2C, B2CLA, right?
But if a businessman is directly going to the GSTN portal, he have to bifurcate by itself into
So
the 14
each
categories.
invoice has to be bifurcated by him own. He has to bifurcate that invoice. If he has 500 invoices, he has to first mark what are B2B invoices, what are B2C invoices, what are B2C LA. Okay? So 14 categories he has to do on his own. That's one biggest hurdle on GSTN network, because you have to do that invoice bifurcation on your own. Second is the reconciliation part, which will come here.
And our
In the
software
sales
is going to
section,
simplify
you can upload
that.
and fill. In the credit debit notes, you can again issue a credit debit note to cancel an invoice. That will go here. Aggregate entries is the reporting which GSTN requires on its own, that you have to report HSN code-wise detail. Although it's not mandatory to write an HSN code, but if you report it, if you sell a good, you have to give it to the department that what goods are you are selling. So that reporting is to be done also.
And as we earlier mentioned, that if the invoice amount is less than 200, you don't have to issue an amount invoice for that. You just have to upload an aggregate entry on the monthly basis for that. Save to GST. Now the data is saved on our portal, and now for that, and from now, you have to transfer your data from our portal to the GSTN network. Now you have to select the entries which you are confirm about, and now you can submit it to GSTN portal.
See, the 14 categories are here. Category wise bifurcation is done here. This is been done. This is the dummy because it's nil. It's a dummy. But when you will do it, actually, it will be filled with data. So what you can do is, you select 3 items you want to send. You send it. Again, you are done with 2 items. Select and send. All the data will go there and stand on the network. This will reduce your hurdles because now you will be sure like 50% return is being done, 70 is done, even 100 is done. You have to just go on the return section, see how many entries you have filed, press sign and send. When you do that, you have to apply your digital signature, e-signatures or Aadhaar verification, and then you will be entering.
That means it is providing you a service that basically if you want to submit your data before 10th also, you can just select it and submit to GSTN.
And
just
wait
have
for
to be
the 10
confirm
to
about
sign
that.
it.
And wait for the return to sign it.
Like see, he is selecting a particular invoice. He is selecting particular invoices which he wants to send, which he has done now. So this data has been sent to the GSTIN, and this will go and stand there till the time you load it. The dashboard will show the invoices which you have done. Same process being done for the purchases also. See, purchase is auto-populated. However, there is sometimes you have to do the reconciliation purpose. So you have to upload your purchases also. This purchase section which I have skipped right now is the same process for sales. It will be bifurcated into 14 categories. HSN coding will be there. So I've just skipped those parts because it's the same process which you have to do for purchases also. Now, just go back. Or see, pause. See, this is a page where all your data comes on 11th. We talked about two-way return. Since it's not visible, I don't know. Two-way is here, yellow one. Two-way. This has been auto-populated, and this is your register. There can be mistakes in he writing 10 rupees and I am writing 20 rupees. This mistake will be highlighted by the software. Only the mistakes part will be highlighted. Other things are being accepted. Means there is no mistake. If I open and view the mistake, pause. See.
Like see, in my purchase registered, I have entered HSN code, this and this, but the seller has provided the HSN code, this and that. So there is basically the difference between the two, and even there is a difference between the date, the invoice date. So this is showing a mismatch, and now I have 3 options. Either accept the mismatch, either reject the mismatch, or that put it on hold. If I'm accepting that I have a mismatch, I have an issue, I will correct it from my end. If I reject it, then I'm showing that it is the problem in the supplier's end. So basically the message will be communicated to him on my behalf to his email ID and his registered mobile number.
See, HSN code is just an example. Our software has lot of validation checks. Like it will track your mismatch on the basis of HSN code, description of goods, या फिर IGST rate, CGST rate. A lot of validation checks have been put into the software. It will track the mismatch of any type.
When I rejected an invoice, there's a tab opening up. This tab is basically Because if there is 100 invoices being mismatched, you will end up calling 100 people for a particular one person that he has done a mistake, right? So this will reduce your time, and what you can do is when you reject it, everyone knows that we have a master right now. We have uploaded a master data here. See, contains the person's email ID and phone number. These two are mandatory for every person having a GSTIN. There is a communication to supplier button here. What you will do is you reject, you enter what you want to say to the supplier. Even you can upload the file. You can scan the invoice, upload it here, and confirm. It will send a mail to that person saying that he has rejected your invoice. Now you take the action on 16th and 17th. That the end mistake is on your end. That mistake will be highlighted here. The software will tell him that the mistake is done by him. You have to take the steps.
And
to
even if
correct
he
it.
didn't correct the mismatch, he can't take the credit of the taxes he paid on the purchases.
And this mistake will be like communicated to the supplier by way of notification by email or by mobile something.
By even an SMS can be done. That notification is not sent by GSTIN. GST network never does that. That's our software which will be doing it. That's one added benefit done by the software. It will help you to communicate even. See, here is a mismatch where the supplier has showed two things, but you have shown one. What we can do is, right now he will try to connect to the network of our software. In the meantime, we can entertain your queries so that he can connect time, and we'll move forward with the software demo also. Is there any queries of yours? If you have, we'll send the mic to you and we'll answer it.
When this matching is done, suppose there are more than one mistake or mismatch, will all the mismatches be highlighted in one go?
Sir, can you please say it?
If there are multiple mismatches,
Okay, sir.
will all the mismatches be highlighted and shown in one go?
Yes, sir. All the mismatches will be highlighted. Every mismatch, because that's the backbone. You can't take the credit if the mismatch is there. If you don't take the step also, you can't take the credit. They are very much strict about taking the credit. They are very much strict about compliances part.
They are basically fixing the loopholes that were present in the current tax regime.
So if the chain is not working, I tell you one more example. If these four people are in a chain, he's selling to him, he's selling to him, he's selling to him. If one of them stops filing the return or even not paying the tax, the next month every four will be hampered. Next month GST will lock all these four. There is one more concept of blacklisting. There is a concept of rating. You can't skip from GST. They know what they are doing. They are very much strict about their compliances. Why there is a penalty of 100 rupees per day for not filing return? The same is not there in income tax. There's a time. But here it is a penalty. Because they want everyone to do particular compliances very perfectly. They have relaxed for 2 months, but not for the others. Mismatches will be there. You have the time to either accept, reject, or hold. Hold will be done for 2 months. You can hold a particular invoice. 2 months you can do the reconciliation for that. Supposingly on 14, there is a lot of invoices which are on mismatch. What you can do is put the invoice on hold, pay the tax. Next month when the invoice is entered perfectly, take the credit back. Next month you will end up paying no tax.
But if your output liability comes up, you have to pay after 2 months with interest.
Okay, sir. Any other query? If there is any query, please raise your hand. We'll send the mic. Any query related to law also is there. We can answer that. Any query related to software, we can answer that.
person having two vertical, restaurant,
Sir, Mike.
hello. Sir, if a person having two vertical, one is a restaurant and another is a lodging, can he opt to composition?
If your turnover is less than 75 lakh in the last preceding year, you can. But the turnover of both the businesses will be added.
Okay, for both lodging.
Lodge and restaurant.
And ma'am.
Say I'm a into services industry and I am coming between 20 lakhs and 75 lakhs. So I give only one return, right? But then you're saying I will not get input tax credit, is it?
Yes, ma'am, if you are opting for composition scheme,
But
you will not
if you are in
get the
service
benefit.
industry, right?
Yeah,
You said
service
you are in
industry.
service industry.
Yeah.
Except restaurant.
You can't.
No,
You
I'm
can't avail
opt
the
for
composition scheme.
Sorry, it isn't clear. I'm not running a restaurant.
If you are not running a restaurant, composition scheme is not available to you. If you are in a service industry, it's always only available for goods.
So I am in a B2C industry, in a services industry.
Okay.
So can I avail input tax credit?
You can avail input tax credit if you go into the normal regime,
Yeah.
normal GST, where you file 3 monthly returns.
Yeah.
You
can't
can
opt
avail
for
input tax
composition
credit. Ek second. You can avail input tax credit, all the services listed, all the services received by you, except those out of the taxation regime. Available input tax credit is available to you.
Suppose say my telephone bill.
Yes, sir.
The telephone company has to give my GST-IN in the bill for me to avail of the income tax credit?
Ma'am, every company, every person is asking for the GST-IN. They are doing so because it is the compulsion here. If you right now go and book a railway ticket also, there will be a tab for entering your GST-IN.
Okay.
Because that's how you get the credit.
Okay. So I have to make sure that they are giving my GST-IN
Yes,
so that
you
I
have
get
to
my
make
income
sure
tax
that
credit.
the invoice contains your GST-IN, your name,
Okay.
and their GST-IN, of course, because that ways you enter it and contain and avail the credit.
Okay. Right.
Any other query, please?
So there's a gold 3% GST slab on gold, sale of gold, and there's a 5% slab on the labor charges for gold, which we incur while change of a gold particle to gold jewelry. So can I take it as a composite supply and charge 3% GST instead of separating it into 3% and 5%?
See, in composition scheme, you can't charge tax from your customer. You have to pay from your pocket itself.
Not composite scheme, composite supply, where I have an option to take.
You are saying composite supply, right?
Yes, yes.
If one item is 5% taxable and another is 3, right? In case of composite supply, there is a mixed bundle services. In case of bundle services, highest rate of tax is applicable to both. Okay, if he is giving a restaurant services, it is a bundle. The rate will be clubbed.
No, sir, there's another provision. One is mixed supply, which you are talking about.
I would like to add on. Basically, if you are bifurcating, you are invoicing two parts. First is for gold and second is for your labor charges. Then you have to charge different rate on gold and different rate on your labor charges. But if you are providing it under the same head, under just the gold ring, then you have to charge it on 3% itself.
Is it our option or there's a confusion regarding it?
You can opt any option.
Will there be any litigation based on this?
No. Any more query?
We are getting back to the software again. Yeah.
Sir, you talked about this golden gateway. So have I understood correctly in the sense that you can't file the return directly? You have to go through you or no.
You can always go and file the return on the GST network, but you will end up facing a lot of hurdles. One of them is bifurcating the invoice. Just put July here, July. One is bifurcating the invoice. See, right now there are 4 type of invoices here, which we have manually entered. One is B2B, export, HSN code, B2C small. Now, these bifurcations are done by the software when we were entering through Excel. We were not liable to do this bifurcation. But a particular person has 500 invoices. What will he do if he has to bifurcate in it? First, he has to issue an invoice, then he has to bifurcate, then he has to manually fill it, or even through the Excels, but then also you have to upload it section-wise in the GST network. So you can always go there, but our software will help you in doing these things.
Actually, in software, we will provide you a template. So you have to import all your sales data into that template, and that will be input into our software. You will look like you don't have to like single-hand input it.
We have some of the validation checks, like the sales will be bifurcated into 14 categories. And we have a validation check if you are putting the wrong HSN code, that will be checked from your master data, wrong party name, wrong amount of tax, all will be checked from the validation check
See,
itself.
if your HSN code is there, if you don't enter the HSN code in the column, on the supplier column, that will automatically qualify as B2C, because you are giving the Excel a hint that the person doesn't have an HSN code. Like she was asking that if she doesn't give the HSN, her GST IN to the company, the telephone operator, he will qualify it as B2C. He will qualify it as business to consumer. But if she wants to avail the credit, she will automatically go and give the GST IN. That will he has to then qualify it as B2B. So these things, these transactions will be done automatically here. You don't have to go and separately do that. See, reconciliation has to be done. This software will do it automatically. These are the value addeds which a software will give, the server won't.
We are even maintaining your data for 8 years.
So we, the TIN Facilitation Center, are providing this software, no? If our various clients are using different softwares and they are bringing the data, whether is it possible to migrate that data to?
Basically, each ERP has an export option into Excel. Even Tally has that option, so he will be exporting that data into Excel, and that Excel will be imported to our software.
It is possible?
Yes, sir. Sir, see, there is an option. See. You can even add a single invoice, or you can import that Excel file.
One more thing, there may be some people who would like to merge the software to their software. Supposingly a SAP person will not like to import it and export it, they will like to merge it. Those services are also available by us. You can contact any of us, will help us in providing them those services.
That will be basically an integrating option.
Integration option, which we will provide in a button, all data will go and it will be entered into the software.
On our cloud, then you can transfer it to the GSTN portal.
No one is offering 8 years free of cost storage. 8 years is required by the law. And one more thing, when we talked about 37 returns, we said one more return, which is the annual return. Annual return will show all the month data in a single return. All your bills in one place. So if you have put some invoice on hold, and you haven't availed the credit, you can go and amend those invoices in the annual return and avail the benefits also. So all those things, if you want to see all the data in one place, how will you do that? How will GSTN will help you with that? You have to do it on your own. They won't give you the data back. The software will maintain it for you.
Suppose if our software will be storing data just for 6 months, then for on 31st December, you have to upload the data again for filing your annual return, but we are saving your data for 8 years so that you can file your annual return.
See,
Even
this
in
is
the income tax also, you have to maintain your data for 8 years itself.
This is GSTR 1 form for the month of July. If I get it from here, the data will get transferred in the form of return. Okay? And then you can go down and sign the return using the digital utilities, and your return will be considered as filed. Is there anything about software which you want to know right now? There may be some questions apart from what we have told, see, you hereby or signature of authorized signatory, if you sign, your name will be here. When you say submit, there will be a pop-up where you can use the digital signature utilities and sign it. And then the data will be uploaded. Everything can be done by you easily using the software.
Sir, a newly registered firm can opt composition scheme.
Yes, sir.
Is it possible to get compilation of the turnovers for maybe 6 months if I want it together to view what my standing is of my business concern?
Yes,
Is
sir.
it possible from your software?
Yes.
Sir, these are the report sections. Okay. Under the report sections, there will be some standard reports coming, which you can see. If you want some detailed reports, that can be added. If you want what are the services, can be seen here. Secondly, this is the standard module. If you go as a GST Suvidha Kendra, before opening this page for a particular entity, there will be a page will show hundreds of entities. How many you want, will give you those. Access will be here. Once you click it, the compliance section, the dashboard will appear, and the whole process can be done for that particular entity. This is the standard which will come for a particular entity. But if a GST Suvidha Kendra is doing that, a person who is related to us is doing that, the software first page, login page, once I enter the ID password, all entity will be listed on the left hand side with the names. And it will show the compliances, like complied, if it's a 10th month, 10th of next month, if you have filed the return, it will show complied. It will show the date of compilation, date of filing the return. If it is delayed, it will mark it as red, that the company has not filed, or you have not filed the return on behalf of that particular person. Everything as a GST Suvidha Kendra is available. Second, we have not told you about an option which is called multi-user. ERPs, those big softwares are always multi-user, means you can use the software. Here you will become an administrator. If I give the access to this person and he wants to give the access to that person, what he will do, he'll go into the software, create another ID for him. He will do and create another ID. That ID will be given to him. He will go and log in, and whatever he wants him to see can be done. He will give the rights. Supposingly he wants him to upload the sales return on his behalf for that particular person. He will give the rights that sales tick. He will be only able to upload the sales. He will not be able to open any other section available. That's a multi-user option where a particular client can access the reconciliation part. If the client wants to see the reconciliation, you can give him the rights and he can view the reconciliation, and you can finally take the action.
And you can add n number of clients and n number of users. There is no such limit on that.
Multi-user option is also available. Since this is the final version, I can't go and add a particular person because I don't have the access right now. But if you want, you will go and add the entity, add the user, and that will be done from your end. You will create a password and ID for him. Secondly, email ID and phone number will be compulsory for that also. You will be providing the email ID and password to that person.
After the payment has been credited to our account in 24 to 48 hours.
And one more thing, if you act as a GST Suvidha Kendra, once you pay to us for a particular person, then we'll provide you the logins for that person. You have to give us the GST IN of that person, that particular person is being added. We'll add from the backend. We'll provide you the logins for that. Obviously, sir, the pay structure, the payment structure will be sent to you through mails, and every payment will be made in advance.
And you can even contact your RO for the commercials.
And he is the right guy standing in front. He'll be helping you with all the processes, because we will not be staying here. He is the person who is your contact point. So you can contact him anytime you want. He'll be guiding you. We are always available through phones and mails, but he'll be your final contact point right now.
He will be the contact link between us.
Now this is the ledger area in our software. Like in Excise, you have to maintain PLA account. Similarly, in our software. Similarly, in GST, you can maintain lot of ledgers in our software. Like you can, it will show you a consolidated data of cash you have with you, like how much opening balance of cash you have and how much cash you have utilized towards your liability, IGST, SGST, CGST. Similarly, it will show you ITC summary.
Cash is basically your advanced deposit. Advanced tax deposit is basically your cash.
Here you will be able to see your how much ITC you have that you can utilize towards your tax liability. And in the end, it will show your final liability.
So with this, we would like to go to the question answer session again. That if there is any question and answer you want to ask about software and the role of GST Suvidha Kendra, you can ask. We'll be happy to answer those stuffs.
Can you please explain the cost of the software and integration charges, etc.?
Your voice is not audible.
Can you please brief the charges for this integration and the cost of the software, etc.?
Sir, integration cost depends on client to client.
Okay.
If you want to integrate, what connector will be used? This will be a connector between your software and our software.
Okay.
If I talk about Tally,
Yeah.
Tally will be a software. A software reads through its own software. If you want to upload data to Tally, you have to use the Excel which Tally has given to you. That is what readable. If you want to use a software, our software will give the Excel, which is column number 1 for me and column number 1 for you can be different. So how much connector cost will be there will depend on client to client.
All right.
Can be 10,000, can be 50 lakhs.
I think you noticed that last 2 days before NSDL did an advertisement in newspapers saying that 2,800 is the subscription charges for annual subscription charges for this kind of services. Yeah, something like that. Per annum.
Basically, our commercials will be explained to you by our RO.
And one more thing, right now only few companies have come out with the commercials.
Yeah.
We have even not disclosed it yet. We are in a process of finalizing it. It will be out in a day or two, and all those persons who have applied for commercials or applied for as a GST Suvidha Kendra will be sent through a mail, and then they can opt for becoming one, and a form will be sent to you also for becoming one. Commercials we can't disclose right now.
Because basically there are 3 slabs in that.
Okay.
That will be explained to you by the RO.
All right. Thank
And you can contact him after a day or two when the final stuffs are being sent to all.
Ayush.
Anything else? The facilities provided by the Suvidha Kendra will be number 1, return filing, reconciliation. You can do punching work from them also. Supposingly, a person who can prepare the Excel will give you the Excel, and you can upload it here in the software and file the return on their behalf. If the person who is a very small trader will give you his invoice book, you can punch and charge for that.
You can refer our standard software to your clients, like to the medium enterprise who have their accountant to file the returns. You can even provide the integrated options to the large entities.
We have another option called multi-user, which you can use. You can create a user between you, provide him the access to upload the sales and purchases, then you will review and file the return on their behalf. Supposingly a big company is even approaching you for the filing of return, you can just give them the access. They will upload all the sale and purchases on his behalf for you, and then you can file the return. Those services are there. what I can right now tell you that my cost will be straightforward and your share will be shown. Rest, if you want to escalate, if you want to charge anything extra from the client for doing your work, you are free to do so. You can charge 1 lakh from him. I don't mind that. Whatever my standard cost will be there, that will be borne and shared between you and me. Like in the previous we are doing. For a PAN center, we are sharing a particular cost. For the Aadhaar center, we are doing so. Same will be for the GST Suvidha Kendra. And for the taxpayers, the software will be provided to you directly. You can use it, and all the patch updation costs will be done through backend.
Or you can go to our GST Suvidha Kendra. Any more query? Ayush, a little.
So can you briefly tell us these 14 categories of invoices? Yeah, very briefly.
So briefly, B2B, business to business amendment, B2B B2CL, business to consumer large A amendment, business to consumer small A amendment, AT aggregate entries HSN coding, ATA, then exports, imports, exempted. These will be the categories. Credit debit notes amendment. These will be the categories where the invoice has to be bifurcated.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Yeah.
Zero rated and exempt services are different.
Yes.
They are
Zero
different.
rated and exempt are different. Exempt, which are out of GST regime. There's no tax liability in front of it. Ma'am, if you go by the coding section, right? If you go for a coding section, what they have done is, they have put 4 categories, 0, 5, 12, 28. If they put anything under 0, that means tax liability is there, but the amount is 0. But if they don't put anything in this column, it is out of this box. That means that is exempted.
See, ma'am, this is basically because if the item is zero rated, the government can change the rate anytime. If the service is exempt, the government has to pass a legislation law for that.
They have to put it through a law into this chart, but they can always change in between it.
Zero rated.
An item under 5% can now be changed to 12 after passing the amendment. But if they want to put it back to the table, they have to pass a particular law for that. They have to go through a whole process of laws, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, passing that to enter it, and even states to accepting it.
So those people also have to file their normal returns, although
Yes,
they
ma'am.
deal only in 0%.
Yes, ma'am. Return filing is compulsory.
Okay. Now in B2C, there is no question of matching or mismatch or anything, no?
See, ma'am, if you are only a service provider,
Yes.
there is no concept of B2C mismatching or something.
Yeah.
But if you are purchasing something like
Ma'am,
AC or
point
something
is,
for
in B2C transaction, you can't match because you are talking about
Yeah.
selling,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But you are matching the purchase invoices. You are matching the credits which you want to avail in providing those services.
I will have
Even
to.
a
So,
B2C
if it's only, I'm dealing only in B2C services, and everything above 200, I still have to show in my return every single invoice.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, in B2C, what will happen as a supplier, seller? You will file your return on 10th, but final consumer will not file his return, any type of return on 15th, right? Purchase return. So
Yeah.
there is no concept of mismatches in B2C.
Yeah.
The concept of mismatch is not applicable to the consumer.
Yeah.
But the mismatch is applicable to you because you want to avail some credits. Supposingly a chartered accountant services, he has charged the service tax. Now, for him, you may be a consumer. But you want to avail the credit, so you will go and report your GSTIN. That transaction will go into B2B, and you will then avail the credit.
in a particular building, if two restaurants are there, one is air conditioned and one is non-air conditioned, it has got two different rate, I think. In a particular building, one.
Sir, AC and non-AC restaurants are different rates, right?
Different rates.
Different rates. Under composition scheme, it's flat 2.5. Under this, then there is a condition of alcohol being served in a restaurant, non-AC restaurant with alcohol, AC restaurant with alcohol. Then there is a separate bifurcation over this. You can refer our website where you will find this chart. All rates being bifurcation.
You mean to say that different rate can be charged?
Different rates. Supposedly I'm talking about non-alcohol, non-AC. Rate is 5%. This way it is being done. AC, non-AC, then it's 5, 12, 28 also. AC with alcohol is 28.
See,
Alcohol.
This particular hotel has 3 different categories. See, bar, AC bar hotel is there, other restaurant is there. They can charge different rates. See, all the 3 has got the one single GSTN. Even then, it can be charged separately.
Earlier also there was a concept that if food is being served from the same kitchen to a AC and a non-AC restaurant, then it will have to be considered as a same place, which is the AC restaurant. Same continues here also. So now you have to prove now that that is what he was saying. You have to prove, because in case you have to prove. If that is being done from a single, one place is AC, other is non-AC, you have to charge the one rate, which is of AC. We have prepared some sector-wise analysis also, that's available on our website. If a particular sector is applicable to you, you can go and search on the website and see what the amendments are. We on back always amend this as and when the act is amended. So this is as per you as food and supply in restaurant, non-AC, non-liquor 12%. Then AC plus 5-star above rated 28%. Means a 5-star restaurant with AC will be charged at 28. Below 5-star with both AC and liquor will be at 18. So all these queries of yours will be handled through the website. You can also go and check the HSN code here. Impacts are there. You can apply as a GST Suvidha Kendra here. There is a knowledge cafe tab also with the recent FAQs, frequently asked questions on GST. That has been bifurcated and entered here. Over like FAQ on composition, input tax, migration, registration. All those FAQs, frequently asked questions, can be accessed here. It's www.alankitgst.com. Any other query?
Sir, currently we are uploading FAQ files. Like in GST, is there an option for uploading such a file? Not a FAQ file for GST. No, not for TDS. See, if you are using your I just want to know whether I have to use your software for uploading all these things. For uploading GST return.
Uploading GST
Through
return?
through your software only. There is no other option for uploading just an FAQ file like that.
No, there is always an option to directly go to the GSTN portal.
Okay.
But we are providing the value-added service.
Sir, there are multiple software available in the market.
Okay.
There is an option called going to the GST network and filing the return. It's just that we as a GST Suvidha provider access multiple softwares at a one time. We have a tab called application service provider for the for the software companies who develop them, right? So this software which we have shown is the best in the market which we have came across. It's been developed by us. It's the best in the market. It has all the features which you require at one go, at one place. If you access one of our competitors, there may be some lack which they have. I don't want to take one competitor's name, but some competitors are just developing the Excel utilities for uploading into the GST network. They are not doing the reconciliation part.
Okay, we can upload the Excel utility to the GSTN.
GSTN portal, but then you have to bifurcate the transactions.
Sir, anything that you do manually will take a lot more time than what you do through software. That is the first thing. Whatever you do manually includes bifurcation of the invoices B2B, B2C. Also, whatever is the reconciliation item have to be searched by you, cleared by you, then only you get the final output. Then preparation of the return is also another thing. Plus, whatever backup we are giving you in terms of knowledge base, you can search wherever there is a doubt, you can search through the software itself. Basically, the software is doing the work for you.
Okay, that
You are
means
not doing it manually. In a day, if you are doing it manually, you may be able to prepare 10 returns. But through software, you will be able to prepare probably 100 or 150 returns. That is the difference.
And we are always there for you as a backend support. You can always contact us if you avail our services.
we can upload the GST return through your software only, right?
Yes.
You can do.
This there's a section called filing of return. You just go there and click and final submit the return. There is one more thing. This section is the returns. You can go prepare the return. Already data has been uploaded here. Just go and sign. That data will be uploaded to the software. There's no way you have to go to and open the return section of the GST network and then file it. Everything is done here. We are a GSP. We have the key to the way. So we provide the way directly. I was also talking about, go to the alankitgst.com. I was talking to the application service providers, those software companies. This is the best software which we came across. That's why it's our software. We have all the features which a person will require in filing their process to the GST.
Because as you might be knowing that Alankit is in financial services from last 25 years. And both our MDs and chairman is CA. So basically they have the proper knowledge, what will be the expectations of the people and what they require from us.
It is basically a one-stop solution where you don't have to bifurcate your activities and use other utilities separately. Here you get everything in a place. Plus here you can be a user yourself. Plus you can also do work for another user.
And as we name it GST Munimji, basically an accountant. Munimji is basically an accountant. It will
But
be
here
bifurcating your
it doesn't mean accountant. It's mean a one-stop person who will help. If you remember back in time, in the ancient history, a Munimji was approached by plenty of people. Here we use this concept because you can be approached by plenty of people to file their return.
And even as a single, if you are using a standard software, our software is bifurcating your entries. Because
It
if
reduces time. Definitely it reduces time. Time is value. Right now time value of money is there. You end up filling the return for 2 hours, 3 hours on the network. You will do in 10 minutes in the software. You have to just prepare the Excel. That's it. It will do the rest of the work.
And you can even add your sales on daily basis.
And for the POS machine, you don't have to add the sale on daily basis. As and when you generate the bill, it will automatically go into the software. Yes, one more thing. Those who will use the option of multiple users, like if you give access to him or someone else, now whenever they log in, your login will show what time they came in to the software, what things was done, what time they left, everything will be shown. This is the feature called audit trail. Audit is basically a big word, but it's the small way of auditing, because if he goes into the software and puts something wrong, you will know when he did it. Who has done it? Maybe you have given 10 IDs. You don't know who has done the mistake. Now, this ways you know who has done the mistake and you can pinpoint to that person that you are doing something wrong. This is your control. We don't want you end up making mistakes. We'll give you every support here. All back to, it's called end-to-end support. We are giving you front-end to the back-end support. Technical things will be done. Webinars will be uploaded on the website in case you end up having some problems in filing of return. There will be a webinars All trainings will be done through online portals only. Software trainings will be there. You can always access the software training on the website, open it, view it, and you will be able to thoroughly go through what is the process of doing the return filing.
We are even delivering your messages to your suppliers or to your buyers also.
There's a message going on your behalf. You don't have to call that person. Right now, everyone uses mail. Everyone does. Everyone has their mail access because phone doesn't start with a mail, start without a mail. Everyone uses those mails. So you just open and see the mail. He will know what the query is. He will take the action.
Because this mismatches thing is, I think, most difficult thing in GST compliances. But our software will like easily handle it. You can see, like, you can upload your purchase record. I already told you. You can, like, you will get the GST at 2A, and mismatch will be like directly communicated to the supplier if he has done any mistake. But if you do it manually on the GST network, you will face a lot of difficulties.
One more thing, where we were talking about a auto-populated return 2A, right? We were saying na 11th, there is a return which will come auto-populate. If you go online, there will be a printout coming to you. Now what you have to do is tick all the fields one by one. Matching will be done. That's the biggest problem you will face.
And our software will be basically verifying both your purchases and the supplies made by your output.
Those mismatches will come and highlighted. Even it will show, like we showed, the red part will show the problem area. You don't even have to see what's the problem is. It will show the type of mismatch.
It will show the type of the serial number of invoice in which you have a mismatch. Then it will show what mismatch which was there.
It will show all the mismatches there. See. 5, 7. 5 May, 7 May. The mismatch is being shown here itself. It's highlighted in red box. The HSN code is being highlighted in red box. This is done by the software. You don't have to do it. Otherwise, if you have done through the online filing process, you would have to take the printout. Invoice-wise invoice, you have to correct. 1, 2, 3, 4 is correct with the 1, 2, 3, 4 over there or not? If not, then you have to go to the server and accept and reject it.
And even you can send your invoice to your supplier. Like, here is an option, choose file, so that he can see that he has conducted a mistake.
He has done the mistake in filing the return, not you. The mistake is on their behalf. He has to correct it then. Anything else? Yeah, sir, definitely. We can assure you that we will come across the best prices available in the market. That's a surety. Plus, if you are associated to Alankit, you know what we do. We'll share the best possible rate with you. And there will be some slabs for those with us, with those with not us, those not registered with us and want to become a GST Suvidha Kendra. So those slabs will be there. The best possible rate will come to you, and definitely that will be an earning, because client will come to you, not to us. We are the back-end support, right? Client will come to you. You have to place the client. So we'll provide a good amount of handful coverage over it.
That's why we haven't finalized our commercial yet, because we want it to be competitive, like
We
according
want
to
to
the
be
market.
competitive. Plus, we want you to be associated to us as a GST Suvidha Kendra.
Because basically we want to outreach the customer. We have around 20, as he mentioned earlier also, we have around 5,000 centers all over India. So basically we want to outreach the market.
And we have now changed something. Our need is customer first. So if customer is there, if customer is happy, he'll be ready to connect to us, right? So we will look forward to that. Anything else? Any other query which you like to ask?
I have a doubt on behalf of the guest. Suppose mismatch, and the supplier doesn't agree to the mismatch.
Sir, if you reject a particular invoice, that means you are saying that the supplier has done the mistake. Here what you can do is there is maybe some loopholes which I would not like to say as a chartered accountant. There are some loopholes which you can do. But if you reject a particular invoice, the notice will go to him. In the next month, you will not try to do the transaction with that particular person. He will, but what will happen is here, the invoice will be going to some loophole. The invoice will be said that you have rejected. He has rejected the invoice. I am not willing to accept it. My rating will reduce.
He is my sole supplier, Ayush.
Sir, I am telling you, there is a concept called rating and blacklisting. My rating starts reducing after each time he is rejecting a particular.
What about my input credit?
Sir, your input credit gets on hold. Yes, that's a loss to you, but there is a chance that he gets blacklisted. His his functions will end up in market. He will be banned for doing that transaction. That's the worst scenario he will face.
Let's say it happens only initially for once or twice.
Sir, rating. Sir, I tell you, there is one more concept. There is a concept where input tax credit is greater than your output liability. Your output liability is 0%, you are getting benefit of 18% as input tax credit. You want to apply for refund, right? If you want to apply for refund, government will stop giving you refund if you don't do the compliances. What will you do? Your rating is there. Secondly, if I am in a transaction and he is not correct, doing it right, we both will be forced to not to get the credit. The government will stop that. So either we both change his route, or we both force him to do the work correctly.
If they don't deal with me, I will be losing my business.
Another question, a different one. The client is with me for 4 years. Okay. He wants to move to another GSP. Okay. What about the data?
Sir, data will be stored into our software till the time. If he wants to take the data, we have to talk to the IT team for that.
It means it's a positive thing. If the client is with us for a couple of years, he'll have to stay back with us.
No, sir. If he wants to move, how can we stop a particular person?
I mean, the software is developed in such a way, and it is a positive thing that if he is with us for a couple of years, he would have to stay with us, which is a good thing, because 3 to 4 years he has been with us.
Yes, sir. Sir, one more thing. When we file a data on your...
This is a clarification to everybody else also, that because we are giving an end-to-end solution, it is more likely that the client will stay with us and will not move to another service provider.
And one more thing.
For 8 years.
One more thing. If by God forbid, if someone wants to move, all the data, all the written file on his behalf via software will go to the network. He can always fetch the data from the network. Obviously, backend support will get deleted. The software can't access, you can't access that data, but yes, you can access the data through the GST network, which you have filed through our software. We are not going to disown someone or we said customer first, so customer priority will always be there. But we will always try that a person stays with us for a longer period of time. That we have to check from Microsoft or a technical.
That is a technical thing. We will confirm it.
It's always possible to move the data, but it comes with a cost which he will have to bear if he wants to shift the data.
Unless and until something really goes wrong, no client would like to shift.
If he wants to shift from your to him, that can be done easily.
Solution from a particular software which he himself can use, because he is able to integrate it with his own ERP, whether it is Oracle, SAP, and able to get the reports, get the reconciliation done, invoice uploading done, and return filing done. Why will he move?
But if a
This is
service
giving
provider...
us extra leverage, because we are able to hold his data and keep his data for 8 years. That is the
main catching point,
we
sir.
have in our software, is what I am trying to say.
One more thing, if someone wants to move from one Suvidha Kendra to another, supposingly maybe there's a shift in location and he wants to access the nearest center, that can be easily done.
So most SPs are like providing data storage for 1 to 2 years maximum.
He start shift from one Suvidha provider to
Data will be either deleted or we will be charging the data for the transfer
if he
of
wants
data.
to shift from one Suvidha Kendra to another, there is no
There is
that
no
data transfer.
There are no issues, sir.
Because data is in the same platform where his data is. If he wants to move to the software, then he has to see for
Either
the
pay
data backup.
for the data, or either we should delete that. We will delete.
Just clarify this once more. Suppose that and now he shifts to let's say Kottayam. Then he'll be able to use the Suvidha provider of Kottayam?
Yes, sir.
Within
We will map him to the other Suvidha
Within
Kendra
Alankit.
and
Within
obviously
Alankit.
within Alankit.
Because the
And since the data is in the same,
Because the software access is through.
That is one clarification that I want to give you. Probably others will also like to know that within Alankit, moving from one, it should not happen that if he has shifted from Cochin to Kottayam, he has to travel back to Cochin to get the thing done.
Oh, no.
He can stay at Kottayam and get it done from the Suvidha provider of Kottayam, which is Alankit's Suvidha.
Sir, because access to the software is through user ID and password. You just have to share the user ID and password to the
secondly,
concerned
the
party.
data backup is done on the same cloud.
Right, right.
Data backup is in the same cloud. He can always access the data from the other cloud. If he wants to contact, if he wants to shift, he can definitely do that.
Software access is similar like Gmail or Facebook. You have to just log in into your
Why
account.
did he shift is the question. That is why that will not happen because majorly
We
are
are
present
trying to
everywhere.
open.
Luckily, we are present everywhere. But your point is correct. See, for him, it is more important to get the end-to-end service. What we are providing will be provided by others or not is a big question.
Yes. We have not came across these center techniques in the market, right?
And in the modern world, we are connected
You have
through
to
internet.
accept the fact that you are with an organization who already has an infrastructure which is very huge. We are already pioneers in the 10FC segment, and to float this GST is not at all a difficult task.
Yes, definitely. We don't have to open plenty of centers. It's already been opened.
But then we're already exposed to such activity earlier.
So that is
And
why
we are part of
only
it.
government selected us as a GSP.
Yes. Getting selected as a GSP.
Provides this service also, they will definitely try to approach you for that. Everyone wants a hustle-free way, and there are no plenty of sources to do that right now, frankly. There are, but that comes with a cost, and you will be the cost-efficient person. Any other?
Demo video. We will be sharing on our website very soon.
Software video with webinar will be shared on the website very soon. We will provide a webinar situation where you will be explained how to use the software, and it will be done.
And even this seminar will be available on our
Facebook
page
and YouTube page.
You can anytime access it.
And we'll be going through a lot of seminars in days. So all those seminars will be get uploaded on the YouTube page of Alankit Official.
It will be live on Facebook.
Streaming live in Facebook and
YouTube. Right now we are live on Facebook.
We are already live on Facebook and YouTube.
So you can always access this video after the seminar. You can refer this video to any of your friends who want to know the basic about GST and the software who are not available right now here, and any other videos of ours.
Because we are going to conduct
Multiple seminars in next few days.
all over India. GST is going to be completely paperless. So we
GST
are
is
also going to be
Sir,
completely
paperless. Everything will be paperless. Everything will be done online.
Your expenses have reduced.
Your printing cost will
Sir,
be reduced.
we will believe in go green, so we will go green. GST wants to go green, so we will go paperless with that. Everything we said, as we said, everything is online now. And we always show, we have shown you the best way to be online, that POS machine. which a small trader can access, and you can, on behalf of him, file the return.
Because if you are running at NFC and you want to means going somewhere and you means generate an invoice, you can do that by the that only.
One more information we wanted to pass to you. Tomorrow we are holding the same seminar in Bangalore. Day after we are doing it in Chennai. And on 8th we are doing it in Hyderabad. So if you want to be there or you want to want your counterparts to be there, you can take the details from us and ask them to be there in the seminar.
Same ways goes for 6th on Ahmedabad, 8th in Raipur, and 10th on Indore. Any of your friends, companions who want to attend these seminars, you can always refer to them. You can get the details from us right now about the dates, venue, and the same will be going as an event on Facebook Live also. You can access that on the Facebook Live page also.
On our Alankit page.
Alankit page, sorry. Facebook Live on Alankit official page. Anything else you would like to ask? Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for the patience hearing. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. There's an arrangement for high tea right now. You can have that after it. Thank you so much.
I request you all to please take the high tea, please.
Can open the high tea. Please open the high tea, please. Secondly, if you have any other doubt, you can have our visiting cards. You can call us anytime you want.